Hello, everybody. Today we'll have a look at the career planning guide for college students, especially for you, and also how to write CV in preparation for the career, even during the college and afterwards. So let's get started. Before diving into writing your first CV, it's very important to take a step back and truly reflect on who you are. This is not just a resume, it's a representation of your journey, your strength, and your aspiration. So I would like you to ask you to ask yourself the following questions. So what motivates me as a student? Is it curiosity, creativity, a desire to help others, or the thrill of problem solving? So identify what subjects or activities light the spark, whether it's writing, coding, sports, organizing events, or public speaking. These clues point towards the kind of environments and roles where you're likely to thrive. And also think about the values that shape your decisions. Do you value teamwork, independence, honesty, or impact? For me, this is impact. These aren't just abstract ideas, they guide your actions and help define your professional character. Also, take stock of your strength and growth areas. What do you naturally excel at, and what would you like to improve? Include skills you've have developed through academics, personal experiences, or extracurricular activities like communication, critical thinking, leadership, or resilience. And don't forget to reflect on your accomplishments and challenges. Overcoming difficulty often builds the most valuable qualities. And if you have hidden talents such as photography, music, or language fluency, this is a great moment to think about how they might contribute to your personal brand. Especially if we're living in the age of AI, and a lot of you guys will change jobs and careers like more than 10 times. So what would be the crux? What would be the focal personal brand that you want to promote and continue throughout the many journeys that you will take in your career? So thinking about this is very, very important. And finally, don't go it alone. Ask your friends, professors like me, and mentors for honest feedback on your strengths and also some weaknesses, but a lot of strength and a few weaknesses. That's a very good starting point. And sometimes others see the best in me, in us, before we see it others. So this is a very practical step that you can take in order to start thinking about what you really want to do in life. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Imagine fast forwarding 5 years into the future. What does your professional life look like? One of the best ways to clarify your academic and career goals is to write a future CV that reflects where you would like to be. So this exercise can help you visualize your trajectory and identify what you need to get there. So start by naming the job title or field you hope to work in, whether it's a product designer, UN policy analyst, data scientist, or social entrepreneur. Then think about what would appear on your CV if that future becomes real. So this is a very, very important practice that you can do. Before it happens in reality, think about it, visualize what you really want to do in life. A lot of people actually skip this very important step. So I really want you to spend some time to think and visualize, especially visualize what you really want to do in life. What internships might you have completed? Which research, volunteer, or leadership experiences would support the path? Would you have earned a graduate degree or certification? So after you've asked all these questions, now reflect on the present. What's missing from your current experiences that your future CV needs? So identifying this gap is very important. So you actually visualize your first future first and then come back to your present and identify the gap in between. And this gap can point you towards your next action steps, whether that's applying for an internship, improving a skill, joining a student club, or finding a mentor in the field. This forward-thinking approach helps you not only set goals, but also reverse engineer your way to them with clarity and purpose. So I really want to emphasize again, you're actually doing the things upside down. I don't know whether you've known this person named Charlie Munger. He was sort of a mentor and a colleague of Warren Buffett, one of the best known investors in the world. Then they were running the fund together, the investment company together. And Charlie Munger always emphasized thinking backward or thinking like upside down. So instead of just focusing on the present, you actually think about the future first and what you really want to do and what you really want to be. And then you think about your present now, and you can actually clearly see what's missing in your puzzle in the present time, and you can sort of build up from then on. So this backward thinking is very effective and it really works for me. So I would really want to recommend you to do that. I'm actually doing it now for myself too. All right. And when planning your career and academic growth, it's important to break down your aspirations into manageable steps, short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. This approach helps you stay motivated and track your progress while adapting along the way. Start with short-term goals. I always emphasize that we start small, just start with a small habits or start with the small goals that we can immediately achieve. And this is a very good building block as well. And what can you realistically accomplish this semester or within the next few months? Okay, this is a short-term sort of goals. Examples include joining a student organization, attending a career development workshop, or drafting your first CV, like what we're doing now. These actions build your foundation and confidence. Next, think about your midterm, medium-term goals, perhaps over the next 1 or 2 years. You might want to complete an internship, develop public speaking skills, or become proficient in data analysis or a new language. These goals push you towards tangible experiences and professional readiness. Long-term goals provide direction. So this is very important. A lot of people actually skip the step to find the direction. And the finding the direction is the most important one that you actually have to do at the beginning. But a lot of people actually just skip this very important step and they just go directly into developing the skills or the tactics, but the skills and tactics, they are secondary. Finding that one big direction that stewards your life is the most important. And this is quite a philosophical sort of way to do your life. So, and that's why people actually are afraid of doing this mental exercise. But I really want to emphasize again that this is very, very important. And maybe you want to graduate with a compelling portfolio, pursue graduate studies, or work for an international NGO. And these aspirations should inspire you, but also they should remain flexible. And so life is like a journey, so you can actually make up the long-term, short-term, and sort of long-term, medium-term, and short-term goals. But remember that this is a journey and it can always change according to what you face in life. So, if you fail in one step, it might actually lead you to a better step. So don't think of it as being fixed and being sort of numbered. Life doesn't work that way. Always have this flexible attitude really helps you to grow as a person and in your career as well. And the key is to write these goals down. This is important, and that's why we're doing this exercise. Revisit them often and allow yourself room to pivot. Plans evolve, and that's part of growth. And being intentional yet open will help you build a path that's both grounded and adaptable. So, after you watch this video, I would actually encourage you to the student worksheet on, finding your strengths and weaknesses. And, based on that, you actually write your first CV, according to the template that I'm giving you. This is going to be the assignment. But it's very important that, you actually get to revise and also revisit what you have written, because that's going to actually give you a clear direction as to how you want to build your life upon. Sometimes the most important progress happens not by rushing ahead, but by allowing yourself to pause. Creative pause, all right? If you're still adjusting to university life, feeling uncertain about your path, or simply needing time to focus on your personal well being or academic foundation, this is not a setback. It's a very valuable part of the process. And you don't have to have all the answers right now. This is your opportunity to observe, explore quietly, and pay attention to what excites or energizes you. Take notes on what kinds of topics or experiences stir your curiosity. People have different interests and different curiosities. So uncovering what those unique curiosities or sparks that you have inside you is the most important one. And use this moment to reflect on who you are becoming, not just what you are doing. And staying where you are mentally, emotionally, and academically can be an intentional and strategic choice. Growth doesn't always mean visible change. Often, the greatest insights come during the times of stillness. When you're still, it doesn't mean that you don't actually move. As long as you're sort of still and peaceful inside, that sort of gives you the small voice, and you get to actually listen what the still small voice in you actually speaks to you. And so having this time of stillness and reflection is very important. And this is what I sort of termed as metacognition, but that's a sort of intellectual term. So just think of having a time that's very serene and calm, and you actually get to talk with yourself. So take a breath. You're not behind, you are preparing. Careers, like life, are rarely linear. It's not linear. It doesn't like go step by step. It actually it looks like a roller coaster more likely. You might find that a job you wanted doesn't work out, your interests evolve, or unexpected events like economic shifts, the coming of AI, or personal circumstances change your trajectories. These changes don't mean failure, they mean growth. And also, I really want to emphasize this point that you will actually face rejections in life. I've faced a lot of rejections in life, so I can tell you for sure. But rejection is a part of every journey. So is redirection. You may discover new passions as a result of the rejection that you experienced. Find a different strength in you and take a detour that opens even better opportunities. So, what matters most is maintaining a flexible mindset. Flexibility doesn't mean letting go of your goal. It means being open to new routes that can still lead you there. So, adapt your plans, not your ambition. Life may not follow your blueprint, but it can still build something meaningful if you're willing to revise, rethink, and keep moving forward. So I really think that having this flexible, like open-minded attitude is a lot more than what you have achieved so far. Life is a very long journey, and you will actually experience a lot more diverse things in your life, and especially in this age with a grand technological development. having this attitude, which is very open-minded, especially open towards the diversity and unexpected things, and it's called flexible sort of cognitive flexibility, actually. And having this quality is very, very important to live and succeed in this age. And opportunity rarely knocks twice, and often it doesn't knock at all unless you build the door. So taking initiative in your academic and personal life sets the foundation for long-term growth. So join the club that caught your eye, volunteer at a school event, go to the career fair even if you don't feel ready. Like actually doing stuff when you feel that you're not ready is very important. I think I really feel that Korean students, they try too hard in terms of like preparation, and they try to be too perfect. But like actually trying a lot of different stuffs when you're not ready, and then actually failing a lot of times as a result. But then you learn from those failure experiences. This is a very good way to grow as a person, but and also to find that a very small niche that you can enormously succeed. And each small step, whether it's attending a networking event, or starting a blog, or launching a creative project, builds your confidence, connections, and skills. You don't need to have everything figured out to begin. What matters is the momentum. Remember this word, momentum. So if you don't have the momentum in the field that you want to succeed, or if you don't have the momentum in the relationship that you want to flourish, just having this word fixed in your brain is very important. So if you don't have it, then creating the momentum is very important. But once you have the momentum, keep going within the speed or even more of the momentum is very important. So having this one word remembered is very important. Momentum. Remember momentum in your life. The more you put yourself out there, the more doors you find and even create for your future. Sometimes the best way to grow is to go deeper, not broader. Rather than always starting something new, you look at what you're already involved in and ask, how can I elevate this? Can you lead a team instead of just being a member? Can your club start a new campaign or event and makes a lasting impact in the campus or in the community that you're serving? Could you take initiatives at your part-time job or internship and ask for expanded responsibilities? And in addition to momentum, remembering this word responsibility is very important. So as you go higher up and up, up and up in the ladder, you actually have more responsibility as a result of the higher position and status. So more success, more responsibilities. So you think of your success or your promotion, your elevation as more responsibility. And by enhancing your current commitments, you develop leadership, initiative, and collaborative skills that employers value. These experiences also show consistency, growth, and a willingness to challenge yourself. Qualities that not only boost your CV, but also help shape you into a confident, capable professional. Not all growth is visible from the outside. Sometimes the most impactful progress comes from within. Yes, this comes from within. You have to have the inner energy. This could mean learning a new language, picking up a software skill, or attending a webinar that stretches your perspective. Whether it's taking an online course, earning a certificate like Google Career or Microsoft Excel, or simply listening deeply to constructive feedback, these small actions accumulate. So improving your mindset, habits, and knowledge base not only strengthens your qualification, but also builds self-confidence and adaptability. And key qualities in any career that you're pursuing. So when you invest in yourself, you're laying the groundwork for opportunities you might not even see yet. So when you actually start your career, when I think you guys are all like beginners in terms of your career sort of path, like don't think about others too much. Think about yourself, and think of investing in yourself as much as possible. That's how you actually get to grow. When you actually plant a seed, the initial period is the most important, and that's when all the energy is should be invested. From the seed to sort of plant stage. The burgeoning a life. So you're actually going to that stage, or you will go through the stage pretty soon. So investing in yourself, investing in your time, investing in your um, relationship, and investing in even in your appearances, the skills. I just think of it this way. You love yourself the most in this way. Especially at the initial stage of your life. When you start a career relationship, long-term relationship, or start a family. So like I think you tend to caught up with a lot of external circumstances, what other people say about you, or the financial situation that you have. But I think the most important thing is to have this perspective that you actually invest in yourself, in your growth at this initial stage, and this is the most important thing that you have to do. And not everyone lands their dream job right away. Not everyone. And that's completely normal. The early stages of your career are for learning, exploring, and building experiences. So, internships, part time jobs, volunteering, or serving as a research assistant are all valuable stepping stones that shape your skills and expand your network. Yeah, so I would recommend that you actually seek for a job or a career that expands your network and relationship. The financial compensation might be little compared to other jobs that you can get, but as long as you can actually expand your network and relationship, it actually sets a better stage for the long-term goals. So always think about, what kind of relationships or what kind of networks, what kind of people I can meet through this career or through this opportunity. So even though the financial compensation, the salary that you actually get is little compared to other options, actually having this choosing this job that expands your network and relationship is going to yield a lot better results in the long term. And this is one thing that I really, really want to emphasize. And think of each experience as a test bed for your future career path. Update your CV with every role, however small, and treat interviews as learning experiences. Yeah, this perspective is very important. So, I mean, we'll actually make the CV according to the template that I gave you, right? And as I said, my English writing tutor, teacher always emphasized that my first draft is meant to be rubbish. It's garbage, so it's going to be thrown away anyway. So don't try to make it perfect. You actually have to revise again and again and again with every little role that you will take in your job, right? And also, you will actually have a lot of interviews, and some of the interviews you will succeed, and some of the interviews you will fail. But you actually treat interviews as learning experiences. You actually learn something out of this interview experience, and as long as you have this perspective, whether you actually succeed or not or fail, it doesn't count as much, because you've actually learned something out of this experience. And so, I mean, as I said again before, rejections are not the end. They are part of refining your direction. So keep showing up, improving, and seeking out new opportunities. So having this growth mindset is very important, okay? And resilience is often the most important skill you will develop. I don't know whether I've told you about the CEO Jensen Huang of NVIDIA. So he actually a lot of interviews, obviously, because of his success. And I actually watched one of the interviews that he had, and the interviewer actually asked him what was the most important thing that actually made him succeed this enormously. And he said, it's because I had resilience. And what do you mean by resilience? Resilience is the quality or the characteristic that actually makes people to try again despite failures. Because of you have this inner strength, which is called resilience. Even though you fail, you actually try again. Because you think of this as a block. So I mean, as I said, in terms of interviews, if you think of it as a learning experience, if you get it or not doesn't really count as much. And I think Jensen Huang had this attitude. So he said he wasn't as smart as the other Ivy League American kids, and he's obviously is not white American, so ethnically he's a minority. So, despite all these like setbacks and weaknesses, because he had this inner strength to carry on despite whatever happens outside, he actually eventually succeeded as a result of the inner strength. So resilience is the very important quality that you have to nurture. And I think it can only come by experiences. You can't actually just learn it by textbook. You have to experience it. So that's why I encourage you to try as many as possible, as many things as possible. Your CV is not a one-time document, it's a living reflection of your evolving journey. As your skills, interests, and goals shift, so should your CV. So make it a habit to review and update it every 6 to 12 months. I mean, this is what I do for myself as well. So, I always update my resume, CV, every 6 months. And I think I started writing it when I was in college at Oxford because I had a very nice American tutor, and he actually showed me his very long CV. And I actually used his CV as a template for mine. So I just followed the structure. And this is exactly what I'm doing with you guys, right? So it's been like more than like 20 years since I updated my CV, and it's been a delight to see, how I've I've grown as a person, as a professional, and just recount all the activities and like experiences that I've had for the past 6 months, and just try to reflect what I have learned and gathered the insights out of those experiences has been a very valuable habit for me, for myself. And you can add new roles, projects, or achievements as they happen so that nothing valuable is forgotten. And use this routine check in to also reflect on your personal growth. How have you changed? What skills have you gained? Which direction do you want to move next? And setting a yearly reminder like CV to assess your goals and keep your path aligned. And so think of it as your sort of monthly or yearly journal. Like a lot of diaries and journals, you basically keep the journals every day. For a lot of diligent students, they do it every day. But maybe for like 3 4 days or like a week, weekly journal. But I mean, as I told you, keeping a journal is very, very important. It actually makes you reflect on your life very, very efficiently, and so that it actually gives you energy and insight to grow as a person, right? But then considering your CV as a sort of monthly or sort of half a year sort of practice to reflect what you have done for the past 6 months, it's a really, really good exercise. And the CV is a very condensed form of writing in a document, and try to sort of condense your whole experiences into very simple, concise expressions. It itself in itself is a very good exercise. So I would really want to encourage you. We start writing the CV. I think a lot of you guys haven't written the CV before, so in itself, writing the first draft of your CV is very important. And remember that your first draft is meant to be rubbish, so it's going to be thrown away anyway. So don't try to do it too well. Don't try to be perfect. You just write down what you can as of now. But updating your CV every 6 months or every year, this is a very good exercise for you to sort of to see where you are in and the long-term goals that you have set, and whether you actually go into the right direction that you have in mind, and also checking, how much growth that you have gained over the last year. So this is a very good mentor exercise, and I really want to encourage you to do this over and over again. So remember that a career is rarely linear. It is non-linear. So treat your CV as a flexible map. It's a flexible map that grows and with you as you grow. So this is the end of my presentation for the college sort of career planning, and also for writing a CV. So this is a rather sort of generic introduction of your career planning. But as I said, it's very important that you actually have your direction figure it out first. Don't try to like learn too much of tactics. You take these courses in like AI, you take these courses in coding, you take all these courses in learning skills, but you rarely think about what direction of life that you really want to set on. So as long as you have a right direction, if you sort of fail or if you make a detour in the middle, it doesn't really count as much. But say you have a very wrong direction from the beginning, and if you go really, really fast and you succeed very fast, and at the end you will actually figure out that oh no, this wasn't the life that I was looking for. So having the right direction is very, very important, and this is something that I really want you to consider before you actually begin your career journey. So that's the whole point of this video, and I hope you've enjoyed it. So my assignment would be to write down the student worksheet. It is basically to help you to evaluate your strengths and weaknesses, and to make you visualize what you really want to do in life. And based on and the writing based on the memos that you have written over there, you can actually write down your CV. I mean, your CV, I guess, is going to be very short because you're just starting. You're just a college student, but having the mindset, and also just writing down the first draft, and knowing the structure of the CV, it's going to help you, how to build your career. All right, so I'll see you in the next class. Bye bye.